CP340 Networks and Data Security Section 16. Identify guidelines set by appropriate organizations and bodies that prescribe quality programs, practices, and processes which apply to information technology environments. Contents 16.1 Social engineering. 16.1 again, just all continued. Social engineering techniques and terms. Countermeasures to social engineering. Notable social engineers and examples, and then references. Social engineering. Social engineering is the act of manipulating people so they give up confidential information. It's a type of confidence trick for the purpose of information gathering, fraud, or system access. Social engineering can happen in person, over the phone, in the office, and online, as it is exploiting your psychology, essentially, human psychology. Social engineering techniques and terms. Pretexting, essentially an elaborate lie to show you're legit to the target. So an email that has the exact same format as, I don't know, a Pizza Hut email or something like that, confirming your purchase. Diversion theft, persuade the delivery to go somewhere else. So someone's walking up with a package and you persuade them to hand it over to you, essentially. Phishing, a form of fake verification that tries to act like a legitimate source, pretty much like pretexting. Spear phishing, it's similar to phishing, but it is more directed at a smaller target base, as phishing was meant for the masses, just to see who picks it up. While spear phishing goes for certain targets and tries to persuade them even harder with maybe information about the targets themselves. Waterholing capitalizes on the trust users have for the sites they go to most. The victim feels safe and familiar with the sites, so they click on a link that pops up. So, I don't know, let's say they go to YouTube, a link pops up, they click on it, turns out it was actually a waterholing. Baiting acts like the Trojan horse. An attacker leaves a USB stick on the ground that's infected with malware, so the victim picks it up, tries to use it. They get scammed. Information is stolen, uploaded, maybe, who knows. Quid pro quo. An attack calls multiple numbers at a company claiming to be calling back from technical support to gather information and see what they could get. Tailgating. So this is essentially where, let's say someone's going through a security gate, they have their ID, they swipe it, and you try and just be friendly, saying like hold the door, and they follow you in. Turns out they didn't have a card, and they're just trying to get in there and steal information, or whatever they can. Countermeasures to social engineering. You have your standard framework. Train employees about when, where, why, and how sensitive data should be handled on a personal level. Scrutinizing information, identifying what information is sensitive and evaluating its exposure. Essentially a rating system of what is potentially going to be leaked the most. Security protocols, establish security protocols, policies, and procedures. Training to employees. Train employees in security protocols relevant to their position. So if they work at a help desk, train them to security stuff like that. Vent test, performing unannounced tests on security frameworks. Inoculation, learning from past experiences with social engineering, so you're not as open to them. Waste management, providing locks on the garbage bin so attackers can't just, go in there, steal some papers that are crumpled up or they didn't get shredded, for instance, someone like that, and they try and gather data that way. Notable social engineers and examples. Ulysses, leader of the Greek army, engineered the Trojan horse scheme, which led to the fall of Troy. That's a pretty famous one. Frank Abagnale, he convinced Pan Am employees and many others that he was an airline pilot in 1960s. He dressed as a pilot, uniform and all, and he flew thousands of miles for free when he was young, just a teenager. Mark Rifkin, a computer repair consultant in the 1960s who memorized the daily transfer security code where he worked. After gaining the code, he called the bank he worked for, claiming to be an employee in the international division, and transferred $10.2 million to a private account he had in Switzerland. References: Wikipedia, CSO Online, WebRoot, and Network World. All pretty helpful. This concludes video 16.